This sounds like some kind of punishment targeting a special group. This line caught Mary's attention. Soon, the Mexico Daily released another cheap, sensational headline. The killer threatened women, saying anyone who steps outside was finished. The president's secretary held a press conference, accusing the newspaper of sacrificing their dignity for clicks, creating unnecessary panic while Mary was itching to solve the case. But she was blocked by a lawyer. If you don't clear this up, it's on your head. And if you leave work and go home, trouble will follow. Recently, Mary's husband Uncle admitted to cheating, and she kicked him out, but now he's got a lawyer to sue her based on Article 169 of the Mexican Penal Code. Apparently, husbands can demand wives quit jobs, stay home, do chores, and serve in-laws. Mary couldn't believe such ridiculous laws existed, while little Guy was fixated on the number 169 in the Civil Code. Isn't that the number the killer left behind at all the crime scenes? Ray sure didn't think that was just a coincidence. They approached Captain Old Leo and realized that all 7 victims were employed and wearing uniforms before they ended up in the killer's clutches. This was a targeted crime against working women. Rays wanted to announce it fast to protect other victims, but Old Leo shot that idea down. The group had previously been checking cars, and the killer had already punctured the tires, making them miss out on important leads. When Old Leo walked off, Rays reminded the 3 sisters, "Hey, we wear uniforms too. We could be targets." That evening, Mary disguised herself as a reporter from the newspaper. Sneaking into the prison, she visited the killer who had once been interviewed on TV, Uncle Bo, thinking his insights might actually help. Mary hoped to pick Uncle Bo's brain to analyze another serial killer, but Uncle Bo wasn't cooperating. He proposed a ridiculous trade instead. "If you could score me a piano, it'll help you catch the killer." When Mary's cover was blown, she felt way too embarrassed and left the prison in a hurry. That night, Dad Guy personally jumped into rescue mode. He couldn't let his son be led around by the nose by the president's secretary. Since Guy got a scapegoat, let the wrong persist and silence all informed people. That night, under his orders, the entire police force switched casual wear and played evidence cleanup crew, rounding up anyone connected to the case. They were beaten up so badly they lost their teeth and swore not to spell a word, but little Guy was watching, and there were new findings on Cocker. She called Nonna to say she had been to the place where Anders' girlfriend used to work, which turned out to be a life-size mannequin factory. Anders' girlfriend worked there too, but went mysteriously missing after his death. Cocker said she had more leads. It was too complicated to explain over the phone. They arranged to meet an hour later at your apartment. Meanwhile, Mary pondered and found movers to send her piano to prison. She couldn't afford to wait any longer. Every second delayed could mean a new potential victim. Over an hour later, Nonna arrived home, saw the door open, called Cocker several times, but received no answer. She stepped inside to find her disaster zone. With Cocker unconscious in the snow, Nonna frantically dialed for an ambulance. By the time the ambulance arrived, Cocker was already without a pulse. When Brother Guy rushed into Nonna's home, he saw on the bedroom wall, "Blood on the wall bears 1693. 1. Though few characters, let's check the cast. To avoid confusing characters, Mary was once a full-time housewife, and now she had to seek answers in this tragedy. She and Uncle Da have a son and daughter. His recent cheating has them in divorce turmoil. Nonna is Mary's younger sister, and her ex-boyfriend Cocker is the hotshot reporter for the Mexico Daily. This guy was investigating the topless murderer case when he got jumped by thugs and is now out cold. Little Guy hails from a family of cops. Her dad's the chief, and her older brother's a detective captain handling the topless killings. Her 2 other brothers also work in the police department, and Reyes is a girl with superior observation and memory skills, currently flirting with Guy's 3rd brother. Old Leo is the captain of the women's police team, with the presidential secretary breathing down his neck, while he's been tasked to clean up the police's image. Andrew was murdered by the topless killer, having his identity stolen. Uncle Bo has a genius IQ and is currently behind bars for being a serial killer. Those are the main players. Now back to the plot just before dawn. A letter was dropped on Mary's desk, sent by Uncle Bo. By the time Mary read it, it was already 8 a.m. Subtitles say the letter informed Mary that the newspaper info was limited. After 3 analyses, he found 3 commonalities in 7 cases. The victims were all working women, discarded by the water, and they all died from asphyxiation. Based on his own experience, he speculated the killer may have killed over 7 and advised checking unsolved cases at the police. There might be new leads. Mary and the team were sorting through the case files, but there were just too many old cases, taking them a solid 3 days. Finally, they found 20 similar cold cases, with Rose pointing out that more than half were handled by a retired detective. Mary and Rose tracked down the retired detective's place through all the year, only to be deeply disappointed it had passed away years ago. Detective's widow informed them that her husband had still been thinking about those cold cases until the very end. Mary asked about the time of the earliest incident, and the old lady had a vivid recollection of the case. Mary then inquired, "Is that children's welfare institution still open?" The widow said the center closed down after Rose's death, but a kid named Vincent still lived there. Her husband had once helped Vincent, and the kid visited her recently, leaving behind her husband's case notes. Mary asked for the address, and she and Ray set off for the welfare center, only to bump into Vincent right at the entrance, asking to check out the old detective's notes. If you're enjoying our story, make sure to hit that subscribe button.